Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, Lauren, and Danny. Welcome to the Cimorelli Podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Carrie. Just kidding. I'm Lisa.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Danny.
And we're Cimorelli.
Welcome back to
The Cimorelli Podcast.
Hey.
I love
Guys,
that.
what?
I mean, I
That's all I heard from Amy.
I contribute to that, but yeah.
Guys, I'm
Okay.
feeling congested and my voice just went low.
I think
Yeah.
your brain is congested.
I woke up this morning and I was driving and my eyes kept closing, not for a long time. Just
Like blinking?
like blinking, but like long blinking like this. And then now that the lights are shining on me, it's happening again, and I feel like I'm
You
dead.
got problems.
So
I
I feel
love
like
that.
a zombie.
I'd like to point out that we're all twinning on this side of the room.
Yes. For those of our ear readers that can't see, Catherine, Christina, and Amy are all wearing different Cimorelli merch, hoodies,
With
and
hoops.
hoops, and their hair is down. Not one
Maybe
difference.
I should put my hair up so I have a little bit of a difference.
Maybe you should put your hair up so you can
Probably.
be a little bit of an individual.
Okay, I want to say hello, Patreon.
Hello.
Hello, Patreon, who's seeing this episode only with your own eyes, and no other YouTube-only people, I don't know what to call them, are seeing this episode. So hello to all the Patreon-only eyes that we're seeing, or that are seeing us. I'm not seeing you, but you're seeing me.
Wow.
And congratulations that you get to see this while everyone else on YouTube has to see the last episode on the same day. You're ahead. Good freaking job. And you get to see the next episode before everyone else. So just want to give you guys congrats and a pat on the back.
Congratulations.
slap.
and a toast.
Good job, guys.
What?
Okay, so you're probably wondering, what is the episode? Oh, wait, you're probably not, because I said it in the last episode. So you already know, I think. Then we're just going to jump into it. Do you know what it is? Okay, I'll tell you. This episode is best and worst summer romance stories.
Ooh.
And that's all I'm going to say about the episode.
Cool.
Okay. But we don't start with that topic of conversation. We start with the spicy advice Q&A.
Question.
From one of you.
Q&A.
Who is it?
Oh, it's from you guys. It's from the patrons.
They're only from patrons.
Wouldn't you like to know who it is?
I would.
Because you don't have the
Tell
questions.
us.
I do.
Please.
Okay.
Please,
It's
sir.
from Hannah, our patron. What's up, Hannah?
Hey.
All right. Her question is, how to get better at confrontation? ?
Oh, gosh.
Amy, you
Do
can't
it.
answer
Okay,
this.
wait. Okay, I want to talk
Danny.
about this. Hold on. I want to
I
talk about...
have gotten better in my years.
Amy's more of a conflict-averse person in general, but it's like movies and TV shows. Anyway, okay, I would like to say this because I still have a long way to go, but even just mentally, even mentally, I have improved a bit. Of just realizing, okay, for me, realizing that my life is better when the truth is just out there, like with my feelings and stuff. It's really hard. It's really hard for me to be like, okay, I'm going to tell this person how they made me feel, like that hurt my feelings or whatever. It's really, really hard. But when I just sit there all the time and think all these things and I don't tell anyone, I'm like, I am like eating myself alive inside. Like, it's painful and it's difficult and it's not fun. And you think about how hard it is to tell someone, but then you think about how hard it is to live your life not telling people. And it's like, why do I think that I deserve that? Like, why do I feel like, oh, I should just hold everything in all the time for everyone else's convenience? And then it's just like really sad. And it makes me sad about myself. And I'm like, why do I see that myself that way? So just on that path of being on that path of self-respect and realizing like, oh, you deserve to be free and tell people what you're feeling. It's been helping me and I'm getting there. So that's my take.
I think Christina should talk. She's the queen of
But I'm
confrontation.
not. I didn't
didn't
have
get
to get
better
better.
at
I mean,
it.
I guess I did get better.
You did.
Okay, I'll just tell you my tips and tricks of what I already know. But it's different, though. I can't relate to being, like, terrified of conflict, but I do like to bring peace, and that's normally why I'm confronting someone. Either I'm really mad, or I'm just really mad because there's an injustice, and I really want to bring peace to the situation. So, I mean, I did coach Kath through a lot of this, but she did get pretty good at confronting people. So it is possible to go from doormat.
She didn't coach me. She forced me. She's like, you better talk to your friend. I was like,
Yeah, it's possible to go from being terrified to actually, like, doing it. I mean, people are pretty scared of Kath now. When she confronts
Who's
them.
scared of me?
Because you're like, she is like that. I'm not exaggerating. You know
Well,
it.
only
She
no.
knows.
I'm only like that to you guys. I'm not like that to other people.
No, I can
Okay.
name people. People who you yell at on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
But
just
it's
named
not like
two.
I'm like, you idiot. Rah! I'm just like, here's the truth in a very forceful
Okay.
tone.
Yeah, so let me say. So basically, why do you need to confront someone? Like, something went wrong, right? You just need to tell them the truth. So realize, like, why you need to do this and, like, have that in the back of your mind. And then just tell them, like, I need to talk to you. If you need to write them a letter, you write them a letter. If you need to do it in a text, I guess you could do that. I wouldn't suggest it. But if that's the only thing you do, then freaking do it. I don't care what anyone says. If you need to call them, you can call them. If you can do it face-to-face, that's even better. But you could just give them a letter face-to-face, whatever. She's done that. She started with letters.
Yeah.
But just look them in the eye. Don't back down if you know, like, I know this is right. Maybe hear them out if you need to hear them out, okay? But just have the conversation. I don't get what people are so scared of. Like, what's that? No, for
I
real.
know.
What is
I
everyone
know.
scared of is going to happen?
I think people are afraid that if they confront them, the person will get mad at them and then they'll like leave. Like they won't want to be my friend anymore. But what I realized is that there is a huge feeling of discomfort and like fear that you get when you're about to confront someone. Like your stomach hurts, you start shaking, and you're like really, you think of all the possible things like, oh, if I tell her
really a
that she was
rush.
being rude to me, you might think like, oh, she's going to feel bad about herself and you want to protect her. Or you're like, oh, well, she's going to get mad at me and not want to be my friend anymore. But I think in the long run, what I've seen is that if I didn't tell someone, then I started to resent them. And I started to, and then our friendship started falling apart anyway. So I was like, okay, well, if our friendship's already falling apart because I'm already harboring some sort of bad feeling towards this person, then maybe telling them the truth, the amount of discomfort is worth the longer thing that will probably be worse. And I found that that was the truth. When I did tell people the truth, it did 9 out of 10 times improve the relationship, or it ended the relationship, and I saw that relationship wasn't meant to be anyway, and it was just dragging on. So I think the more you confront people, even in small ways, the more that you see that it has a good result, and then it's a little bit easier every time. Although I don't think it ever quite gets easy.
Well, I was gonna say for me, since I was a youngin', then I've made people very uncomfortable many times by doing this. But I only do it for other people. Like, I don't know how to do it for myself yet. Like, I don't know how to like tell one of my sisters I'm mad at them or something. I don't do that ever.
Cool.
Sorry guys. Well, I don't have many things to be mad at. But if I ever did, it's like I always just wait for the other person to bring it up. But I got good at confronting people on behalf of other people, and I think that has helped me for myself, because I'm still not that good at it, but I'm better than I was, I guess. So like growing up, like defending my younger brother, or like when I was in driver's ed class and I like sternly spoke to this girl I didn't even know because she was like kind of bullying this other girl in the driver's ed class. And like, I don't know, I've always had like this thing in me where I'm like, I need to stand up for this person. And like, I had these 2 girls who were fighting a lot, and they were like friends with me, I guess. And so I like sat them down and I was like, what is the problem? And so like, I can do it with other people, but the point I'm making is that if you do it for other people, which I find very easy, even though, yeah, it still does get a little scary, but like I still find it easy, then it did eventually lead me to get better at doing it for myself. And when I do it for myself, it's interesting. When I do it for other people, I tend to be very harsh and kind of intimidating sometimes to 10-year-olds. But when I do it for myself, I get very quiet and I'm like, hey, I don't want to say this. So TBH, maybe don't worry too much about like, oh, I have to be so firm, or I have to like yell at them, or like whatever.
yeah.
Like, you can
I saw this
confront
thing.
someone while still being like, okay, I'm kind of scared to say this and I don't want to talk about it because I'm scared of this. Like, just be really honest.
Being real.
And you can be quiet, you can be chill, you can cry. That's still confrontation. Like, a lot of people think like, oh, I need to confront someone, that means we need to scream at each other.
Yeah,
but like,
that's stupid.
It just means you're confronting
You don't
a
need to
problem.
Yeah, you don't need to scream.
It
I
means
just
you're telling the
realized-
truth.
I just realized a really great way to confront someone about something. It doesn't have to be confront is such a weird word, but you can just say, hey, in my head, I'm telling myself this thing, and this is how it looks. Can you tell me if this is right or not? I do that all the time. I do that with us a lot. I'm like, does everyone think that what I just said was really dumb? Because I feel like everyone's acting like what I said was dumb. So instead of be like, wow, you guys all think I'm dumb. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like everyone thinks what I said is dumb, but I don't actually know because I'm not in your head. So can you guys tell me? That is like what you're talking about. Like, you have something that you want to like ask people, but you're like too scared. But I just am not scared. So if you just say it in a different way, like when you said that thing, it felt like you were trying to insult me in front of everyone. Were you actually trying to? That's so much more powerful than just being like, you tried to ruin my life in front of everyone. And I don't know why, if you're scared, you would say it like that. But you know what I mean? If you say it like that, people are just gonna be like, ugh.
yeah, that's
But if
what's
you
going to make
ask
the
them-
worst case scenario happen.
Ask a question. Just ask them. So I guess that's it. Just go to them and ask them what their actual intention was behind what was said or done, and tell them you want to figure out like what was going on in their head so that you can come to a place of resolution. That's not so scary. It's not like you have to go and yell at someone. I think people just have the wrong idea about what confrontation like needs to be. Doesn't have to be dramatic. It's kind of all I got.
Something that helps me kind of push myself to actually confront someone is just realizing that it's gonna be a difficult situation whether I do or whether I don't. But there's a chance for it to get better if I actually do it, and there's not really a chance for it to get better if I don't. And I'm like, okay, if I actually want this to get better, I have to take this chance.
That's a good point.
Okay, that makes sense. So good luck. Who was it again?
Good luck, Chuck.
Hannah, I think. Hold on, I closed it. Yeah, Hannah.
All right. Good luck, Hannah. We hope that helps you. Just got to go out and practice. All right. We're going to go into our topic of conversation, which is best and worst summer romance stories.
Oh, God.
I'm like real nervous, but I don't really know why.
What?
All right. Didn't I talk about this? What did I talk about this in already? The second guy. What did I talk about that in? Something? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Whatever. Let's go.
Oh, you talked about it in weird stuff. You talked about it in weird stuff guys have done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mentioned this second dude. I'm going to say two because they're the same summer. I know. Scandalous. Not really. So first, there's this one dude. This was like good, and then it was like sad, but he was
You
really
mentioned
nice.
it in the second episode of the podcast.
He was a sweet boy. Okay, this really sweet boy. What happened? MySpace. He messaged me on MySpace with my brother's friend, and he was like, "Hey, blah blah blah," and I was like,
He's like, I saw your picture on MySpace.
"No." He's like, "Oh, I saw him like drive by when I was outside some like town center. He drove by, and I was like, and then he messaged me, and I was like, hey, and then he's like, do you want to hang out? And I was like, yeah. And then my brother, he even asked my brother. What? And Michael's like, yeah, he's the only one of my friends I would let you hang out with. Too bad I hung out with others. But
It's like asking
He
the
asked
father
him.
for their
It was
hand
great.
in marriage.
it was
Oh my
great.
gosh.
So then we hung out, and he was so sweet. And we hung out like several times. We were like not officially dating, but like dating, but not officially. And it was really sweet and cute. And then out of nowhere, he just kind of started to ghost a little bit.
Oof. The worst.
Just kind of ghost. And I was like, I was 17. I was really inexperienced, and I was like, what's going on? And I was like kind of sad, but also not too sad because he wasn't mean at all. He was just like slowly fading away. And it had been like really cute. Like everything we had done was just, he was so sweet and innocent and so kind. It was a great experience. So I was like, wow, he was so nice. But then he like disappeared randomly. But then he said he just kind of was getting scared. I didn't do anything wrong. So it made me feel better. So then this other boy that we talked about in the weird stuff guys did whatever. This is like the lifeguard boy who kept looking at me like, and we were counting it. And then, okay, so listen, this dude, I was like, oh, I think he's a nice guy. So this is filed under worst summer romance. This is at the end of summer. The first one's the beginning of summer, and this guy was at the end of summer, I think. Yeah. So he was like looking at me many times, and then he messaged me on MySpace. Another on MySpace.
I remember
How
that.
did he find me? We had a mutual friend, but
Knew who
still.
you were. How do you know your name?
How
He
the heck?
stalked.
How I only knew who he was because we had a mutual
you were
friend.
Tagged in a
He
pic.
probably asked him who you were, maybe?
Yeah.
Asked who? No, we weren't around our mutual friend.
Maybe
I
he
have
saw you
no
comment on
idea.
something.
Okay, I have no idea
Yeah,
how
that's
this dude
weird.
found me. I have no idea. I should have asked him, how the heck did you find me? But I didn't. So he messaged me. He's like, hey, I saw you at the pool or something. And I was like, what? But I was like, wow, amazing. I don't know why, because I didn't even like him that much. Or I didn't even think he was that cute. I don't know what happened to me. So I was like, oh, he. Not really. I don't know what I said. And we started hanging out. And I literally didn't even like it. I didn't even like hanging out with him. I was just like, oh, seems like such a nice guy. I should give him a chance because he's so nice. Because he's so nice. By the way, spoiler alert, he wasn't. But I was like, oh, he's so nice. He kept talking about how he was I'm just a nice guy. Like, he literally said
Whoa.
that.
Red flag.
Okay, so this dude, like, he's one of those, like, victim types who, like, never did anything wrong, but, like, everything that's wrong happened to him, you know? So thought it was this nice dude. Hanging out with him, I didn't even like him. I don't know why. I just thought I should give him a chance. And then finally, I was like, you know what? I gave him enough chances, and this is not working out. So I'm going to, and I said this in the last one, but I'll tell you a little more. I was like, I'm going to go on a walk with him. He lives in my friend's neighborhood. So I was like, I'm going to go in that neighborhood, hang out at her house, then tell him, like, we need to go on a walk. We'll go on a walk, because he's, like, over here, she's over here. go on a walk, and then I'll just come back to my friend's house after, right? And I'll just end things in a nice way, okay? Face to face, telling him, not ghosting him like the last dude. So I was like, hey, you're a really nice guy. Wrong, I lied. But I thought he was nice at the time. You're a really nice guy, and you have so many good things about you, your personality, blah, blah, blah. You're cute, blah, blah, blah. But I just really don't think that we are a match for each other. Okay? So freaking nice. And then he just like flips a switch and turns into this psycho. And he's just like, what? And he, like, I'm not exaggerating. I'm literally not exaggerating. I was like, who is this? And he was just being so different than I thought. And he was saying all these weird things like, you just led me on, blah, blah. I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't know, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to break his heart or something. I didn't know that. So then he just kept saying all this mean stuff and, like, really mean stuff. It was weird. And he just kept going on and on and on and just being so freaking mean. And then, as I said, out of nowhere, we had never talked about religion at all, or God at all. Like, I literally had not said one word about God. That's why I was so confused. He
Maybe
randomly,
you wore a cross necklace one of the times.
so weird. Out of nowhere, he just says, as I said in this past episode, he's just like, by the way, God doesn't love you, and I don't forgive you. That out of nowhere. I don't even know how he knew I believed.
He's
in
like, I
God.
talked to God and asked.
Yeah, how
I love you and I don't forget.
freaking weird. And then he just sprints away, like literally starts sprinting away. And I was just standing there and I was just like, okay, you try to do something nice. Well, in a nice way, you try to end things. And then that's what happens.
Wow.
Okay?
No good deed goes unpunished.
But I didn't give a rip. I didn't think about him one more time except for when I'm telling the story, so I don't even care.
And then for years to come, we drove by his house and honked our horns very loudly for like.
When we were on
The
our way,
entire time.
when we were on our way to our friend's house.
We'd
Not
honk-
because
whenever we'd be passing his house already, we'd be like,
like
that was the
in
little
the dead of night.
revenge.
That's fun.
Revenge served cold
right,
in the
so that's-
microwave of death.
That's my really cute stories.
That's good.
It's from Megamind.
I was 17, okay?
All right.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a disclaimer that I think my best summer was actually with my boyfriend last year.
Okay.
But when I was a youngin', let me just say that I always associated summer with being a lonely time because no one ever liked me. I feel like I would just pine over these boys from swim team and just stare at them, and no one ever looked back at me, hiding away from them. But anyway, finally at the
Cat's wearing all camo in the bushes with
binoculars.
binoculars back at me.
And then finally, when I was 19, actually, no, that's wrong. There was one boy before that who liked me in summer, but let's just disregard that. So this one really felt like the first time, that someone really liked me. I was 19 and I had moved to Southern California. It was a boy from my church, and it was basically very magical. Like, it was like everything that I'd ever wanted in a summer romance actually happened to me. Like, this boy was very adventurous, and he would plan these days where we'd do like all these fun things in a row, and it was completely magical.
You
like,
guys would hang out for like 8 hours.
we'd
a day.
literally go to church, like, because we both played in the band at church. So we'd play at church in the morning, and then we'd hang out all day on, like, multiple Sundays. Like, one of the days we, like, went to the farmer's market, and then we went to an art museum. And then that night we, like, went to this, like, restaurant in Santa Monica, and then we went to a hotel and just went back where the pool was, where there's like a fire pit, and just sat and like talked under the stars. Like, he literally planned these dates that were, I don't know that they were really dates because he didn't say like, oh, I'm dating you, but it was like we were hanging out and it was just, we liked each other. But then, yeah, it was really fun, and there was many more fun things that I don't have the time to share. But then he kind of just started getting kind of cold. And then he started posting all these things about this girl on Facebook. And I was like, who is this? I was so devastated. It took me so long to get over that. Yeah. So,
I didn't know
Wait,
that.
you're saying he took you on dates for months and then randomly started
Yes.
dating someone else?
yes.
Well, first he got cold, and then
yeah,
started
it was
dating
like
someone else.
it was like he kind of stopped talking to me for like a month or something, and then I started seeing this other girl, and I was like,
rip.
oh, rip.
What
But
a
yeah.
letdown.
Rip and
That's
pepperoni.
really sad.
Yeah, we never actually dated, but then like a year later, I was like, "Hey, just so you know, I liked you during that time." Boom. And then he was like, "Oh, I liked you too. You're one of my favorite people that I've ever met."
He's
But
like, yeah, duh, I
I'm
knew
dating
it."
someone now. And I was like, okay. And I think that's his wife.
Is that the
Oh,
girl?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, which I just went out to dinner with them last week, and it was so fun with my boyfriend. It was
Oh my
great.
gosh,
It was like,
wow.
wow, what a time passed.
Whoa.
So yeah,
Full
that whole
circle.
story went full circle.
Okay.
That's wild.
Mine is kind of similar to Catherine's of like, oh, so magical. But mine was like
What?
pure delusion. Oh yeah,
not magical
was
for
like,
me to
It
watch.
was like high
Yeah, same.
highs,
I was
whatever. Okay.
traumatized.
So the backstory is that I had been pursued by a different guy for the first time in my life right before this, and I was like, oh my gosh. But at the time that I met this summer guy, things had like really died down with the previous guy, and he was like a dead beat, and I couldn't like end it with him because I was like, if I end it with him, I'll have no one ever again. I thought it was the only thing I was ever gonna have. And then this guy came in and was like just banging down my door like, I want to talk to you, I want to hang out with you. And I was like, oh my gosh, someone does care, someone wants me. So then I was like, bye to the other guy. And then I got with this guy, and first of all, the first 8 days we hung out all day, every single day, morning to night, because it was summer and I didn't have like anything to do. And he would FaceTime me when we weren't together.
Were
and
we
like
not working at this point?
not really.
Red
He would
flag.
FaceTime me like 12 times a day, and I loved it. I was like, yes, because the other guy was ignoring me so hard. It was so refreshing. And then he went to LA like 2 days before I was gonna go for VidCon, so we went to VidCon together, and we like hung out, and he was like carrying me around all the time, and it was really like I was just from this deadbeat thing to like, oh, I'm gonna lavish all the attention on you, treat you like a princess, like over the top. And then we went to LA together after that, and we went to Disneyland, and we were in this mansion, and there was like famous people everywhere. It was like so,
real life?
It was real life. It was so over the top. And then so it was like, and I remember I was like, every time we weren't together and he was in California and I was Tennessee, like he was just like calling me all the time and saying all this crazy stuff. And it was like, my brain was just like on another planet. Like, oh my gosh, this person is obsessed with me and I'm obsessed with them. And we're just doing all this crazy fun stuff. And I'm like going to the pool, listening to Crush songs, just thinking about it. It's just like on drugs, basically. Like, I was addicted to him. And then out of nowhere, he's just like, I think, the moment that I was like, I was always holding back a little bit, like, oh, this is a lot, but I really like him, but I can't let him know that. And then the second that in my mind, I was like, okay, it's been a month of this. He's not calming down. I really like him. I'm just going to give in. As soon as I gave in, he was like, like he told me, like I gave in like 2 days before I went to LA. When I gave in, like in my mind, like, okay, I'm going to stop holding my feelings back.
What was in your mind?
Listen, the second that I gave in, before I was even there, he asked me to go to LA or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah. And then he like wouldn't book the plane ticket, and he like waited really last minute. And he told me later, like, I was over you before you came to LA, because it was the moment that I decided. And
you
he
decided that you actually like were
Yes,
gonna
I actually
express
liked
your
him.
feelings for
He
him.
felt it.
Yes, he felt it, and he was like, ugh. And then he ghosted me for like 5 days. And then my brother, I was like, Michael, what do I do? My brother, I was like, he's not talking to me anymore. Like, I don't know what to do. And he was like, he's like, you know where this is going, okay? You can drag it out. You can wait for him to talk to you, but you know where it's going. And I was like, okay. And I texted him, broke up with him. He's like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do it right now. I was like, no point in waiting. And then he sent me 30 texts and was like, no, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah.
Red
Like
flag
literally
again.
30.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it was the longest breakup ever, and I cut off all my hair and lost my mind. But before that, it was the most magical summer ever, but in like a really delusional, like psychotic way.
Is that?
Why do you love to lead me on? Oh yeah.
Crying.
Which he
Red
told me
flags.
later that he did. 'Cause he's like, I didn't like you then, and he did not show
I
it.
didn't like you, but
He was
joked
like-
about marriage.
No, after that, like we were in LA together. He's like, oh, I'm going to Disneyland. Like he did not act like he was over me. So I was like,
That's
wow,
weird.
thanks.
Weird.
That's weird.
Crazy. Whatever.
That's really weird.
So psycho.
Danny, what do you
Guys,
have?
I don't
for
ever
us?
want to speak about this boy. Sorry, he doesn't deserve to be spoken about. No offense.
True.
But
Not as a child of God, but the way he treated you.
yes, God loves him. I'm not going to say God.
God
doesn't
loves him, but I don't.
God loves him, and I do forgive him, but he's not worth it. He's not worth my words. So, how do I start? I liked a boy for, count 'em, 9 months.
Whoa.
9 months. And
No,
wait, that was the beginning.
That's a
Count
long
'em.
time.
No, that wasn't the whole thing. I liked him for 3 or 4 years, but
Okay,
9
that's
months. Okay, when he had a girlfriend.
Oh,
And
I remember this.
He my sisters hated him because
He was rude.
he had a girlfriend. Okay, he was rude too, but he had a girlfriend, but he was always flirting with me. And like
Sicko.
Red flag.
in the youth group that we both went to, he would always like come up and talk to me and like text me and like just be so clearly flirtatious and like kind of touchy and like sitting really close to me or like whatever. And be like, "You're my best friend." And I didn't even know him. And so
You're my best friend.
I don't want to go into the details of his story because literally if I do, it will take me 10 years. But basically, it was from approximately 2015 to 2018
Wow.
of 3 months or so, maybe 4 months, I don't know, a good amount of time where we liked each other. And like, this was after he broke up with his girlfriend. And like, we would text all the time. And again, he'd be like, "You're my best friend." And then we would be so nice to each other and all that. And then he would switch to this like awful human being and was so mean to me and would send we'd get in these huge fights. I don't know how they would get triggered.
Weird.
Usually it was
Like,
because I
what?
called him out on doing something that was very stupid or that was morally wrong or something like that. And he'd be like, "Well, you're just a weirdo and you're not smart and you're so boy crazy and blah, blah, blah." I don't remember. All this weird
He's
stuff.
like, well, you're not smart.
He's like,
One
my
time-
actions are not immoral because you're boy crazy.
Yes, one time he went through the list of every single boy that I'd ever mentioned to him, trying to name off the
He
fact
had
that I
a
was boy crazy.
list?
He's like, "What about this guy? What about this guy? And this guy, that." Like, trying to just say that I was boy crazy or whatever. But the reason why this is in the summer romance category is because in the beginning of this, before he was a real psycho, like, he was mean. He was kind of mean, but like, he wasn't real mean. He was just half mean. In the summer of 2015, right after he broke up with his girlfriend, literally 2 weeks later, he was like, "I want to date you. I want to date you so bad. I like you so much." And I was like, I'm a smart person. You just broke up with your girlfriend. That's not going to work. Even though I wasn't a smart person, because I'll tell you why. But I didn't date him. But he was like, "No, it's fine. I promise. Like, I'm over her. It's all good." I was like, "No, you are not. But we can still hang out and whatever." So then he was my first kiss. Right after that, literally a month after he broke up with his girlfriend, because I was being stupid. And then, like, I want to say a week after that he was my first kiss, then he stopped speaking to me and texted me. And this was in, like, July or something. And, like, I was on the plane and I was crying. I was going to LA or something. And he was like, "I can't talk to you anymore because I am not over
I'm
my
an idiot."
ex-girlfriend.
Oh, what do you know?
And we can't date, blah, blah." I was like, so that is what started the cycle. It was like, we were obsessed with each other, and then he was like, "We can't date anymore." And then I was like, "What the heck?" And then he's like, "Well, you suck anyway." And then we stopped talking. And then a few months later, then I unblocked his number, and then he texted me. And it was just a whole thing. It was just a whole thing. He did so many mean things to me. He was so rude, such just like not a good person. I'm sorry, but
Wait, so is this best or worst?
this is best and worst, but not best. No, this is worst. This is definitely worst. But at the time, it was the best because I never knew anyone else, and like I didn't experience anyone caring about me. But like I thought that I loved this person, and like looking back, I'm like, whoa, like Danny, what's wrong with you? For some reason, I don't know.
Wow.
No, you
Hormones are
always want to
crazy.
believe
Hormones
that
are
you love
crazy.
someone when you're
Yes.
like a teenager. You're like, "I love him," and then it's like, okay, I love him. Like, I care about him. I wouldn't want him to die, but like,
But, like,
I don't. You don't
I'm not in
love
love
this
with him.
person. Like,
You
you don't
just-
know them. You have not been in the hospital with them. Whatever. Not that you have to love someone, but you know, it's like you don't know them as a real person. You just know them as an object of obsession.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. Especially just because also I thought that he would loved me or something.
Oh, God.
But like you can't love someone and like be really mean to them
Yeah.
and like block their
But
number
I
every
love-
week. Like that's just not that's just
week.
not a thing. So that was my tumultuous summer / 3 summers, 3-year-long ordeal, which thank the Lord is over and I'm never going to speak to him again.
Good.
Can I just say one last thing about him is I got a boyfriend a long time ago who is just so much better than any boy I've ever spoken to. But the point is, I got a boyfriend and he knew that, so I unfollowed him on all my social medias and I was like, I'm not going to talk to him anymore, obviously. And he made a post on his Finsta, which my friend sent me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, look at this." And he was like, "I hate when people drop you because they get a boyfriend or a significant other, they start dating someone. Like, you can still have friends. Like,
Oh my
sorry
gosh.
that you're on such a tight leash or something like that." I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Wow.
Damn, that story
Wild.
is tragic.
Long story short,
Laura-
I like very mean boys.
Laura, let's hear from you.
Okay.
Liked.
I guess this is my best summer romance just because usually I end up traumatized after romances and this one didn't traumatize me. So I guess it's the best one. Probably because it didn't really like go anywhere. So it was just like fun and like easy. So this was a guy who was in my friend group and I don't know if you could call it a romance, but it was basically like I really liked him the whole summer, but we were just friends. But then like he liked me too, but like we never really talked about it.
He would never admit it.
Yeah, and we would just like we didn't really hang out one-on-one that much, just like a couple times, and like we would just be in the group. But there was always like kind of like a vibe between us where like we knew that we liked each other. So it was just kind of like fun because I wasn't like panicking about anything because he wasn't like trying to date me or anything. We were just like hanging out having fun, you know? And like there was a couple of times like this one night when we were all hanging out at the pool and then like everyone else left. And then I was just talking to him and we were sitting by the pool and like talking about all this deep stuff and like about like our lives and like bad things that have happened. We were just like being really honest with each other and it was really nice and just like he really was a nice person who cared about me. But then the end of this was that I finally talked to him about it because I mean, some of you guys know the story from the What Kind of Girl song and the whole story of that. But basically what happened was I finally ended up actually talking to him about it because it was like, okay, obviously we like each other. So, like, we should talk about this. And he was just like, yeah, I know what you mean, but I think it's just one of them things that will pass. And I was like, okay. But also it's kind of weird because like I had like dated his friend like a while ago, so he was kind of like, I don't really want to do that to my friend. So I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But also, but also it just like looking back, like it never would have worked out anyway. So I think the way that everything happened was really good because I didn't end up traumatized, and it was just like a fun experience until it was over. Yeah, now he hates me, but that's
And
okay.
me. So
Great. Doesn't hate me. Just kidding. I have no idea.
definitely hates all of us.
Hates all of us
Okay.
now.
He hates the six-headed beast.
But we
Miss
forget
Amy.
about that.
Short
We
one.
don't talk about
Your
it.
last.
Also, I am sitting on a taller stool than usual.
Yay.
This and the last one.
So, guys,
Um,
Amy owns her height, so she is not mad if I call her the short one.
She doesn't wear
I'm not
stilts.
because it's been many a time. You just kind of get used to it, and it's just like it's like
nothing
someone
wrong.
saying, "Oh, the one with an elbow," you know?
Yeah.
It's just what you
It's
are.
not bad.
So yes, I am the short one. It is my distinction factor. Like if you said the tall one, it could be any of you. So basically, I've had two talking to guys in the summer. I don't really know what you call them.
Romances.
Yes. What
low
was it?
key? Low key
Yeah.
romance?
They one was less low key. The other one was pretty low key. The one was in real life. One was via like Snapchat and like texting because he lived across the country.
Typical.
So the one who lived across country, we like started talking because we met through our parents and like family and stuff. And we would talk all the time, every day. He'd like send me all these Snapchats. He sent me a really cute video on my birthday, and I watched it a million times.
I
and
had
it
a
was
crush
so
on
fun.
him too.
Yes, and he would FaceTime me and call me, and I'm like, what world is this? I'm sitting here obsessing over these boys who hate me. Well, not hate me, but don't talk to me. And this boy's like talking to me and FaceTime me and stuff. And it was wild. And then I came to a fall when he came out to California, and our families like had dinner together. And Christina, I think part of me didn't notice because I was so scared because I was like, wait, this boy's coming to my family and his family, and I like him and he likes me. We were talking for 3 months. Like, it's a lot. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I go upstairs to, breathe because I was really nervous. Christina goes, he's really ignoring you. And I was like, what? I was like, who, me? I was
like, she can't
how?
just let herself sit there and be like, oh, I'm so nice and he's ignoring me. So I was like, I gotta tell her.
I didn't realize because I was DUM. No, I was too scared. I didn't let myself process and realize. So then that just ended there. I texted him. I was like, why are you ignoring me? And it just fizzled.
And then what?
Wait, what did he
say?
say?
He was, I don't remember. I think he was like, oh, I wasn't ignoring you. I was like, yeah, you were. My sister told me you were. Like,
Didn't you notice?
He's like, I got
No!
a witness.
I was a delusion. Wait, what was I like?
Deluded.
18. I was just not there mentally. I was too scared, too nervous.
You know what? That's how I feel.
Like when you've been talking to someone not in real life for 3 months and they're
It's
in the room with
Yeah,
you
it
and you're
is
like,
weird,
this
yeah.
is weird, but they're kind of
Well,
agreeing
I
with
was
your whole
just
family.
so mad. I was like, he's literally sitting there being a giant butt.
Yeah.
I
Is
was
that best
so
or
mad.
worst?
That was just like
Best
there's
and
just-
worst?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that happened and it was very weird and this is not fun. But then I had one in real life which was way more fun till the end. But it was way fun. Cuz we would do all this fun stuff like we get ice cream and we eat it at the top of like this parking garage. We go for a drive. I was shockingly the adventurous one. I'm like, we're going to go for a drive and we're going to say at each turn right or left and we're just going to go wherever.
Oh, that's
Amy
so
was in
fun.
a John Green
He's like,
novel.
are we really doing this? Like I was like, are you scared?
Are we
like
really?
that's why they have GPS, honey. He made me take 100.
Amy, that is so unlike you.
I had
great.
done it before and it was really fun. I had like
Oh.
he made me take 100-page quiz on which avatar whatever I was.
What?
Like, okay.
How
It
long
was
did that
so-
take?
It was on the drive. I was just doing it while we were talking.
Wow, she's driving.
And the entire hours we were driving around, we did not listen to one song. It was so weird. It was so fun.
Just the
And-
sound of the conversation, and the
Yes.
summer air outside.
And before we
Catherine.
like, as things got closer and closer to him having to leave for school, they got weird. But like the last time we hung out was like the funnest thing ever. He came over. I was like, oh gosh, there's a boy in my house. My sisters, they're there.
It was so weird seeing you with a boy. I was like, Amy.
I know.
Oh
we
my
watched
gosh.
a show with Lisa. We like went to the pool together. It was really fun. And then he like helped me put together my bed because I got like
Oh,
a bed
that's so
frame.
nice.
Him and Nick put it together for me. And then we
Where
like
was
went to the playground, and he literally walked across the top of the swings for fun like twice. Like I was like,
Amy's like,
That was
my
lit.
I'm not
crush
scared.
is a parkour wizard.
but I was like, oh my, because I was used to liking all these boys that were not like that. And I was like,
Not parkour wizard.
it was just so funny. But yeah, it was really cute and really fun. And then it ended poorly, but now we're good. So
Oh,
it happens.
wow. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
I feel like those are actually really sad.
They were all worse.
I don't think
Yeah.
any of them was.
Most summer romances end unless you marry them. They're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
end.
true.
Honestly, every romance,
Most
no
unless you
matter
marry
of the
them.
season, ends unless
Okay.
you marry them.
Yes, we're talking about summer though, but yeah, you get what I mean.
Even when you marry them, sometimes they end. Half the
Oh,
time.
yeah, that's true. Okay. Anyway, so hope you guys enjoy those summer romances, and let's get to the sister spotlight. All right, this week's sister spotlight, or this episode, is ding, Lisa.
Hey.
Wow.
My
Welcome
favorite,
to
no offense.
exposing Lisa's weird past self. Something that
love this
happened.
one.
This happened in real life so many times
Oh,
where she
yeah.
would tell us these old stories. We were like, oh my gosh, this is too weird. Then
And
it's
I
like,
know it's always stories. Okay, this segment basically is these are always stories that I actually don't think are very weird or whatever, and then I say them out loud and I'm like, that's pretty weird, and then they are like,
we're like,
what?
She
Who
says
d-
these things so casually. We're
Because
like,
yeah, in my brain it was just perfectly normal. So
Good.
let's
this
hear
week's
it.
episode. I recently retold this to my boyfriend because I remembered it. And I was like, oh, I gotta say this on a podcast. And his reaction was even more strong than I thought it was gonna be. And he's like, you're such a spaz. So, but I wasn't really spazzy, just a good word. Anyway, so let's see. What year was it? I was probably,
You're asking me as if I
13?
know.
you know, I think I was 13. You were there. I was in kayaking camp
Oh,
for the summer. Okay, so remember everyone, this is my segment. I'm 13, kayaking camp. There's like 10 kids in it. Our little brothers are doing it. It's me.
It was
There's
not,
a girl.
It was you, me, and Alex.
Whatever.
I was there too.
Okay, whatever. I thought they were there.
Were you?
Shh, my segment. So, there's like a girl who's my age. We became friends, and then there was two boys who were friends with each other. And this story is the first time a boy ever gave me his phone number. Just to preface it. So, it was a week long or 5 days long. I became close with a girl, so it would always be me and her, and then the two boys, and we would just kind of pair up, and we would always kayak around this big lake together, and we were exploring different parts of it. And our teacher was kind of like a really laid back, chill dude, so he just kind of leave us alone. And the week just went by, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm just gonna say his name was Kyle because I really don't remember his name. It might have been Kyle, something like
I
that.
remember it.
So he looked like
You
the.
remember?
What was it? His name was Eric.
Yeah, I think it was
I was
Eric.
thinking Eric, but I think it's because he looks
I
like
think it
Eric
was-
Dill.
no, oh wait, no, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Okay, he looked like the
Never
old
mind.
lead singer
Eric.
of
I thought
our.
you said, oh, it's the same.
Listen. He looked like the old lead singer of our favorite band because he had this flippy, long brown hair as 13-year-olds did at the time, and I was just like,
Oh
oh,
my
he's
gosh, I
so
forgot about that.
dreamy.
How
so,
do boys do that?
Anyway, the week went by. I kept having a crush on him, and he liked me. But he was very quiet, very shy. I would always just be like, you want to kayak together or whatever? I was like, yes, I do. So at the end of the week, just to give you a little info, when you kayak, you wear these water shoes. So at the end of the week, I'm like trying to stall because he's about to leave. We're about to leave. And I'm never going to see him again because he doesn't live near me. So I'm washing my shoes in the lake. I'm waiting for him to make a move and getting rocks out of them. But it's pointless. I don't need to. I'm just like, where is he? Where is this boy? I'm 13. And also, this is another thing I have to give you a backstory of. I was terrified of boys, which I said in other past stories. I didn't want them to know that I liked them, even though I was obsessed. So this time I wasn't as violent because I was a little older, but I was still terrified. But I just wanted to see him. So he leaves. He's gone. And I'm like, dang it, I'll never see him again. There goes my crush. And I am just about to finish up cleaning my shoes, and then his car comes back. And his mom gets out. Oh! So technically it wasn't the first time a boy gave me his number, but a mom. And the mom gets out and gives me his phone number and is like, hey, that cute guy's been texting or been talking to you all week? He thinks you're pretty cute too or whatever. Like, you should call him sometime. And gave me his phone number.
That is so
and
wrong.
I instantly went from like, oh my gosh, I really want to see him, I want to talk to him, to like, oh my gosh, absolutely not. She gave it to me and I was just disgusted and horrified, and I was like, oh my gosh. And my mom was in the car there, and I don't know why, just having my mom know that I liked someone was like the end of everything. I just hated it so much. So she gave it to me and I was like, okay, thank you. Oh my gosh. I put it in my pocket and then I like dried my shoes off, went to the car, and my mom's like, thought it was so weird. She's like, what was that lady saying to you? Did she give you something? And I was like, no. I was like, I don't remember what I said. I made snap really quick. She just asked me, blah, 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 I don't know. She was like, okay, whatever. And then drove me home. And in my brain, I'm just like spiraling as the car ride's like 30 minutes home. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't. I played it out in my mind. I was like, if I call him, what's going to happen? We can't hang out. I'll have to ask for a ride. And then someone's going to know that I like him. And I can't have that. Like, what's he going to come to my house? Yeah, right. What, am I going to go to his house? Someone's going to drive me there and they're going to know. And I was just like grossed out and freaking out. I was like, this can never happen. So I went home. Remember, I had a crush on this boy all week. I was obsessed with him. I went home. I went in my bathroom and I was just pacing around, contemplating. And I was like, I know what to do. And I went in the bathroom and I flushed the number down the toilet. I flushed it down the toilet. The boy that I liked, I was obsessed with. I was like, we can never be flush.
You didn't even throw it away in case you wanted to dig it back out later.
No one could find it. I was like, I must dispose of this evidence. Like, why was that so terrifying? I don't know, but
it's all fun and games until they speak to you.
I don't know. It was the most terrifying thing though, and I even wanted it to happen. And once it happened, I was like,
why is that mom Danny though?
I don't. Yeah, literally.
Danny.
Like, hey.
So that was the first time a boy ever gave me his number.
Wow,
I love that story.
that's good, Lise.
That's hilarious.
I
That's
feel
so
like
disturbing.
childhood, you just freaked out a
She
lot.
was-
Like,
She
was
was
very scared.
so
Private.
bizarre in her head. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you were so bizarre because you were so in your head.
Oh,
It's like you didn't speak to anyone, so
I
then
didn't-
you get kind of crazier when you don't speak to people.
because I didn't tell anyone what I was
True.
thinking, so I couldn't have people saying
no one
like,
can be like, that's crazy.
or like, oh, that's okay if you ask for a ride. I was like,
Yeah, it got a little musty.
That's a
Yeah.
really good point, Danny. Okay. Well, that was the
Here you go.
Sister Spotlight. Lisa, exposing Lisa's...
Sister Spotlight.
Exposing Lisa.
Thank
Exposing
you.
Lisa's weird past
Exposing
self.
Lisa's weird
Whatever the
past.
heck
Lisa
we call it.
exposes her weird past.
Yes.
I don't know if that's what we called it, guys.
We got lots of ways. to
We're
call
far
it.
into this season.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Patreon. You guys are awesome. We really appreciate you guys supporting us. And we'll see you in the next episode, which you'll get a week before YouTube gets it. I don't know where I was going with that.
Thank you.
I'm not going to say join Patreon because you already joined it.
You
So
already
thank
joined
you
it.
guys.
Tell your
Thank you for
friends.
joining
Thanks,
Patreon.
guys.
You rock.
Yeah. All right. We love you guys. We'll
Gab.
see you next week with something even
Really?
spicier. Just kidding. I don't know. Could be less.
Oh, great.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Cimorelli Podcast. Follow Cimorelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimorelli on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.